Waiting for some people to jump on. Man, it's been a while since we've done a podcast, so I forgot all these steps. Forgot how to connect everything. Needed to connect this, connect that. Didn't pay my subscription. It was all sorts of chaos right before. That's why we're kind of joining in a little bit late. But we have a good one for you. We're going to be discussing the budget. I know a lot of people are concerned about what's happening in the budget, what's going on, what are they going to do, what's this, what's that. We had a meeting today where I came out and did a citizen's request or a citizen's communication with some things that needed to be said. I know that a lot of people don't, when it comes to their job, and I totally understand, is that they don't like to get any kind of conflict and such. And, it's totally understandable. I wouldn't want anybody to put their way in, put themselves at jeopardy or anything like that. Everybody's got a family. Everybody's got to keep their families fed, children, and it's totally understandable. But what we have going on here, and the county, of course, is going through a situation, and I'm telling you, as a person from the outside looking in, the county is obviously going through some harsh changes. But I think that there has not been anybody to explain what the process is and know exactly what's going on and go through the budget. Now, it's available if you guys go through the Maverick County website. Right on the homepage, there's a little bar. There's a little bar, and it says, I think it's a blue bar if I'm not mistaken, and it says a budget. Click here, and you can view the budget there. And I don't expect everybody that is not in government or has a little bit of experience to know exactly what the budget is saying, what the budget is trying to explain, and what exactly is going on behind the curtains. Because as many of y'all know, thank y'all for joining on. As many of y'all know, what you see is one thing, but what is actually happening, that's another. And thanks for everybody joining on now. It took a little while. I apologize again. It's been a while since we've been here doing our podcast, and we've just been caught up with a lot of things that we've got going on. Life. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But I think it was very important, especially with everybody talking about this in the news. Well, not in the news. There's several elected officials coming out, employees coming out and saying something about this budget. Now, let me go ahead and give you a kind of a background of it, of how this budget is created, who creates it, and what's the step going forward. So, for those of you that may not know, the budget, okay, the county judge, of course, is the budget officer for the county. That's his job, that's his responsibility, that's what the county judge does. In this case, when the budget was created, it was Judge Hassel who was the interim judge. And give me a second real quick. I gotta send my daughter $13 for her cat so she can order some DoorDash here since Dad's doing the podcast thing. Give me a second. Sorry about this. Let's see, $13 to my beautiful daughter. And I think I sent it from the wrong one. Oh well. Anyways, so the way it starts is that you have, of course, the county judge. The county judge is, as the budget officer for Maverick County, is in charge of preparing the budget and presenting it to Maverick County Commissioners Court, which includes all the commissioners. So that originates from the county judge. He's a budget officer. Again, who was the judge at that time, or is still the judge? Interim Judge Rolando Hassel. So he's the one that is preparing the budget. What was a little different this year was that the county auditor, Gloria Barrientos, was very heavily involved in this budget, in the creation of this budget. Now, everything was consulted with and in conjunction with the interim county judge, Rolando Hassel. I believe that Ms. Barrientos was, in my opinion, possibly making the final decisions on what was going to get placed in this proposed budget. Now, that's all that this is right now, is a proposed budget. It's not a final budget. It's not a approved budget. It is a proposed budget. Now, again, if I'm giving you my opinion from the outside, I do think that this budget was heavily influenced by the county auditor's office. The county auditor, again, is Gloria Barrientos. Now, why do I say that it was heavily influenced by her? Because it was. I mean, there were several things, and I'll tell you as we go along, that just by going through the budget, which I'm going to show you right now, I have it here in another screen because it'd be difficult to navigate it here in just my MacBook. But it's a thing where it makes you think when you go through this. And just to give you a little tidbit also, well, we can kind of go through it, and I guess once we hit that portion of the budget, we can talk. But before I get to the actual budget, and we'll go through it, and I'll show you guys how to look at what are you looking at and what are you comparing. I'll give you some quick highlights. There were massive cuts. Massive. Now, given the situation that the county is in, you know, I there might be some scale back, but the massive cuts that were done, in my opinion, were not in good faith. They were not issued fairly throughout all the departments. And I would also say, in my opinion, that a lot of that had to do with political stuff. Whether people liked you, probably factored into that in your departments. It was just kind of ridiculous the way they were cutting directors that have been there for over 10 years, they were cutting salaries of elected officials that had been there for 20 years. You know, they were cutting whole departments, and we'll get to that one right now, that have been beneficial in bringing funds that Maverick County has never brought before. And when I say these things, it's not to pinpoint any department or highlight any department. It's just a matter of fact is that when you look at this budget was not done fairly. Law enforcement, the constables, they took a big hit. There were several funds cut from the sheriff's office. I believe deputies got a raise, which, I'm not saying they don't deserve it, because they do. I want as much funding to go to law enforcement as possible. That's why we're out there applying for SB 22 that gives them an increase. We're out there with the auto theft catalytic converter that puts 6 extra investigators out there, 80% grant funded, 20% match. That's needed. Law enforcement is needed. Just as much as our sheriff's office, each of our constables need to be funded as well. There was a lot of constable deputies that were cut. I can tell you from experience, I work with these guys. I see them in the office every day. Yeah, look, you got Mr. Banda over here again. It's funny, Mr. Banda, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It wasn't pancakes. And if you want to know, Mr. Banda, I actually had the same meeting with Jerry when he went to my office. I am open to anybody that is running for county judge that'll take over in January. Mr. Camarillo, I invite him to stop by my office too, and we can talk about grants and what's going on with our grants, because I'm sure everybody is concerned out there with the moves that the auditor's office have done that may have caused us to give up a lot of the grant funding that was coming to Maverick County. But thank you for bringing that up. I hope you kind of share that in your so-called podcast or whatever it is. I was trying to watch it, man. I can't follow it. There's a lot of how do I say, lack of education on there, lack of information, misinformation. But it is what it is. Go ahead and sit back, grab some popcorn. Maybe you'll learn something from somebody that actually knows what is going on. But again, I invite any of the people that are running for county judge that are concerned about our grants, and I can tell them exactly what is going on. It's no big deal. I did it for Jerry Morales that stopped by my office. I did it for David Salcedo that was nice enough to invite me for lunch. It wasn't pancakes. I had a BLT. It was a good BLT. I invite you guys all to go to the Huddle House. They have pretty good food out there. Funny story. I wonder, Rodolfo, banda, what's your name? Voz del qué? He's not the only one that's bringing out this story, and I wonder why. It's kind of funny that I was having lunch again with anybody that wants to talk. Any commissioners that want to reach out that are going to take over in January, I'd be more than happy to talk about grants with you guys as well. I think it's very important, especially with grant funding coming through in the situation that we're going in. Very funny situation that happened is that I was having this lunch, and then Jerry Morales kind of showed up there at the Huddle House too. So I'm guessing that's where they might have gotten this information where Banda, actually I think you guys are looking at the chat right here, that they're trying to say something that actually isn't there. Like I said, Jerry Morales stopped by my office. He wanted to talk about grants, what's happening here, what's happening there. I'm authorized, to talk about that and to let you guys know about the plans we have, like I am with any citizen, any commissioner-elect, any, anybody that's running for commissioners, not commissioners court. Well, actually, we don't have a commissioner-elect yet, right? We still have the Republicans. I invite you guys, stop by my office. I'm more than glad to speak with you guys about grants. And especially if you want to hear about what the grants department does in the light of, I'll say it, the grants department was going to be cut under the budget that the county auditor presented to Commissioner's Court with the help of interim county judge Rolando Hassel. So thank you for bringing that up. One thing I have to ask you, Mr. Landa, are you still on probation for killing somebody? Let me know about that one. Let's move on, guys. No time to waste with these people that are just trying to deflect you from what is actually happening. Let's get to this budget. It's important to know what is happening. It's important to know about your county budget. Let me go ahead and bring this on. Paco says, Bandas Team Morocco. Look, guys, I'll be straight up honest with you. Since Paco brings it up, I'm not in anybody's team. I am not trying to be in anybody's team. Well, I'm Team Maverick County. I'm team for the residents. I have several proposals coming up. You guys might want to check that out. There's a lot of good things and a lot of good proposals being thrown out that we can do. A lot of good things are still coming, even though some people try to make it doom and gloom. But there's a lot of good things and a lot of hard-working people. And if you guys happen to catch the Commissioner's Court meeting, and we'll touch about that earlier today, I had a citizens communication. And if I'm able, I'll try to see if I can pull it up, or I'll just tell you what it was that happened. And I'll show you whenever we get here, is that there's a lot of good people that work there at the county. You don't have to take my word for it. You can go and check this out on yourself. Just stop by. Look around. Look around and talk to somebody. Tell them, ask them, hey, I'm looking for this. Hey, I'm looking for that. Do you know where district court is at? Do you know where I can get a birth certificate? Those people are friendly and they'll guide you the way. I know because I do the same thing. Somebody earlier today needed to find out where passports were at. I was downstairs. I walked them up there to show them where passports were at. And I'm saying that to say that this budget really affects a lot of those people out there. It affects them. It affects their family because of the income that they receive. A lot of us, including me, guys, we're here almost from check to check. I'm not, this person that has all this money. I have kids. All my money goes to kids. You parents out there, I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. So a lot of us will get affected, especially those that got their entire departments cut off. And it's funny because there's some departments that didn't get anything cut off. And then there's some departments that, you would think they'd be the leaders in this. And they didn't even get a reduction of salary, yet they're reducing the salary of a elected official that just barely got her raise. She's been there over 20 years as this elected official. Boom. Almost 15,000 they cut from her. Another a long-standing elected official who has experience. Same thing with the 20-year elected official that got her salary cut. He got his salary cut. He's been there over 8 years. He knows his job, yet they still cut him and his staff. You got a planning department that got slashed a couple of positions and got rid of a whole grants department that was under planning. You have, they were contemplating getting rid of the animal control officers. Who's going to be there to handle those issues? That's why I say that this budget was not handled with this. It was handled with a political mentality, in my opinion. In my opinion, this was done in a manner to hurt people, not help the residents. Because let me tell you what one thing happens right before we get into this, guys, because I don't want to lose this train of thought. What could happen? They're trying to reduce the salaries of everybody or almost everybody that is making $15 an hour, hourly employees, from $15 down to $12. Okay? What might happen there is that you're going to lose valuable people that are experienced in their positions. When you lose valuable people that have been there 5, 10 years, you're going to have to train someone else. And then, even if you train somebody, what if they don't turn out to be what you thought they were when you interviewed them? You're going to have to let them go. Hire again. And right now, the way things are going with such a tight budget, are they even going to let you hire anybody if you let somebody go? Those are the tough questions that are going on right now that you as an outsider, as a resident, should be able to visualize. As in, you're going to go to the window, ask somebody how can I do this? They're not going to know. Hold on, let me call my boss. And those are the things that are really going to affect the county moving forward. If people choose to leave their position for the pay cut, because they have car bills, they have house bills, they have taxes to pay, they have kids. Horacio Ramos, $12 is good, but people who have been there can get higher pay, also based on their education or certifications. Let me tell you, the ones that have, the majority of them that have $15 in pay there, Horacio, just in case if you're not familiar, have been there for about 3, 4, 5, 10 years. And let me tell you this, the county as a whole has not gotten a raise in many years. They are underpaid. Now, unfortunately, since we choose to keep the taxes low in the county, which they've been getting reduced every year, not unfortunately, that's good for the residents. And remember, all of us that work there at the county, everybody that works there, they're county residents too. But there are things that $12 they can get somewhere else without having to deal with certain things. And that can be very dangerous if people leave, because you're letting go of these people that are experienced in what they do. Let me tell you, would you want somebody that's experienced doing, passports? They have to train someone else to do it. Just imagine if there's lines when there's an experienced person moving everybody along, how much are the lines going to be when somebody inexperienced is doing it? How many mistakes would somebody inexperienced make if they're doing that? Now, just for instance, you get rid of a grant person. The grants are a very specific way of doing things. Building permits, very specific way of doing things. Code enforcement, very specific way of doing things. I'm not saying that people won't be able to learn, but there's a learning curve. And who's to say if they knock down that to 12, again, will they hire that position again? In a recent Maverick County Commissioner's Court, they were talking about if somebody leaves a position, don't rehire. Imagine having an understaffed department that is not going to be able to give you, the residents, the service that you pay for, the service that you deserve. Those are the possible issues that you can be facing. Now let's get to this budget. There you go. I have been with the county for 12 years full time, never got a decent raise. I'm still on the bottom of the payroll. And if I'm not mistaken, I think her salary got cut. I mean, that is exactly what we're trying to talk about. Is that it's a thing that, everybody there, not everybody, there's one, two, three people that do get paid over or at what that kind of position deserves. Now, Horacio says also those people in business with no raise, why are they still there? There are other jobs. People like to do what they're doing, Mr. Horacio. Have you ever worked with any public entity? Some people like to help other people out. Some people and I'm talking about this from my perspective. I like doing what I do. I enjoy it very much. I am good at it. And I don't have to brag too much. I can tell you from the grant funding that we've gotten, but I like to do what I do. I enjoy it. I get up every single morning waiting to go to work to see how I can help out my county. Now, I could be sitting there like you say that some people, I think I saw a comment over here that you had put, or maybe you deleted it. I don't know. Let me see. Some don't do their job anyways. They're also very political. They target some and others they don't. I can tell you that the majority of these employees, they do their job. And I see it. And I can tell you because in my position, I have to work with a lot of departments. I work with JPs, I work with the planning department, I work with the county judge's department, I have to work with the auditor's department, I have to work with the sheriff's department, I have to work with the elections department, I have to work with the county clerk's department, I have to work with the tax assessor collector department, I have to work with almost every single department. And the majority of them, they're all hardworking, man. So I don't know what you're saying about people not working, but I can tell you they are not there for the pay. I am not there for the pay. I enjoy what I do. I am enthusiastic about what I do every single day. And I can guarantee you, anybody that works there will tell you the exact same thing. Because no matter what department needs help, no matter what department, comes and asks me, because just to let you know, I've been in 20 years in public service. I've worked at Public Works for 7. I have 4 years in finance. I have another 10 years in grants, and I have a vast knowledge. I don't know everything, but if I don't know something, I know where to find the answers. And I'm helpful with everybody, just like everybody's helpful with me, because I can only do my job with the help of them. And I've never had a problem, other than maybe one department, with them helping me out. So I'm not sure where you're getting at with that, but I'll tell you, it's Yeah, Mr. Horacio says he's worked with businesses that don't pay well. I move on. It's about paying your bills and taking care of your family first. I understand that. Some people care about money, like you apparently do. And I understand you work with what you're worth, but there's also a thing that, like I said, that I guess me and you differ in that sense. But I like working somewhere where I can make a difference for my community. I always have. Since working with the city of Del Rio, working with the water district, working, at the sheriff's office when I did, I like making a difference. And I want to say the majority, 95, 98% of the county, people working at the county want to make a difference. And they feel that their job makes a difference. That above all is everything, man. That's everything to some people. Some people, like you've mentioned, it's about money. I understand. Everybody has their why on why they do things. And I'm not here to judge your why on why you do things. All I'm doing is explaining from my perspective what my why is and from the why of everybody that I see there that are county employees. There's people that bust their ass for hours and hours that don't get paid like they should. They're not there for the pay. They're not there for the pay. They'll get barely by just to feel the satisfaction that they're doing something there for somebody. So let's move on. I know I kind of went on a spiel there, but I did want to address some of the comments that are coming in. Luri Tovar says, starting with you, how much are you getting paid? I'll be glad to show you my pay right now. I'll be glad to. That's no problem with me. So for some reason, some comments are not getting on here where I see, like the Ludi one. Right now, I'll show you. I have no shame in showing you how much I get paid, and then I'll show you what I've been able to produce. How about that? Is that fair? Let's see. I'll take a couple more comments and show them, and we'll discuss, because I really do want to get into what the budget is. And we probably won't go through everything, but what I do want to show you is where you can see this budget and how to read, so you guys are aware. That's the most important thing, is that you guys should know as residents how to get in there, how to navigate the budget, and see for yourself what is going on. You don't have to take my word for it. You don't. You see it, you be the judge. It's up to you guys. You guys are the residents. Now, just remember is that the county is there to provide services. The less people you have, the less budget you have, the less amount of services they're going to be able to serve you. That's just, that's just the way it is. A couple more comments real quick that I saw. Let me change the timer on this because the timer's going pretty quick. Bernardo says, my question is why people in higher positions get paid a crazy amount of money and then the others are still at minimum wage after so many years. Actually, Bernardo, I don't think anybody's at minimum wage. Back a couple of years ago, everybody was moved up to the minimum of $15 an hour. I believe that was under David Salcedo, if I'm not mistaken. And, I think that his attempt to do that was to give back to the residents, because they wanted them, or not the residents, to the employees. Because again, employees have been working hard for many years without any raises. And I think that that was done to show a good faith to the employees, to help them out a little bit. Because as you know as well as I do, the economy right now, inflation, everything is up. It's difficult out there. I will say, in all fairness, I believe it was the county judge, David Salcedo, and Jerry Morales was also on Commissioner's Court when that was done. So a lot of what we saw in that increase of pay for the employees, which was much needed, um, was what both of these gentlemen that are running for a county judge, they were both on commissioner's court at the time. Uh, Diaz says it's easier said than done, Horacio. It's not easy for an older person. And I get that too. And, like I said, there's a lot of experienced people working there. It's going to be hard if some of these people leave and we have to replace them. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not saying they're irreplaceable. I'm saying that the county will suffer momentarily if some of these people that have been there for many years decide to leave because of the lower pay. All right. Let's get to this budget, guys. We don't want to just go through all these comments. I know you guys really want to see what is going on with this budget. And we're going to, that's what we're here for. This is what we said we were going to do. So, all right, I just disappeared myself. Hold on, wait a minute. There you go. Just wanted to bring myself back up. Anyways, so I'm going to be looking over here because I have another screen that I'm looking at. So as you can see, I know a lot of people were concerned, right? And in Commissioner's Court earlier today, Commissioner Yolanda Ramon made a comments in the citizens communication saying she did not want employees to panic. She didn't want employees to worry about their job. She didn't want employees to be concerned. Again, as you can see by here, this section right here, none of the commissioners have voted for this. Oh, and the county judge. But the ones who brought the budget up, the one who developed the budget, and let me tell you, some of the numbers on the budget just don't add up. But they were brought by the auditor's office, who is headed by County Auditor Gloria Barrientos. They need to double check their numbers because they are off. I will, in all honesty, tell you. I was looking at these and I was talking to somebody that is very experienced in these things, and they were able to say the numbers don't even match. So I would employ or ask for the county auditors to go back and check their numbers and try to get this budget right the next time. But the county commissioners had no input, has had no input in this budget. They have not. They have not done their voting on it yet. Like I said at the beginning, if you're just joining on, I know we have a significant amount of people on here. It's the budget officer is the county judge. In this case, it was Mr. Rolando Hassel, Judge Hassel. He is tasked as a budget officer to make this budget. What has been seen, and anybody can tell you this, is that the county auditor's office has kind of taken the lead in putting together this budget. And I'm going to show you something that's very interesting about that. But nothing is finalized yet, so we'll take it off from there. One of the patterns that we have been seeing is the reduction of taxes, or the tax rate every year when former Judge Cantu was on. They're following with that same pattern. Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword where you're saying, the county auditors here saying, hey, we're going through this deficit. We don't have enough money. We're going to cut budgets, cut this. Yet they're reducing the budget rate. Not keeping it the same, they're reducing it. That to me is puzzling, especially when the county auditor's office knows that we're going through a crisis, or that Maverick County is going through a crisis, like she has been telling everybody in commissioner's court. So if we're going through the crisis, I understand, don't raise taxes. That's cool. I understand that. We're all taxpayers. But why not keep it the same? Why reduce it if we are going through the crunch? That's what I don't understand. Now, if we would keep it the same, maybe some of those budget cuts would survive the budget. So I don't know why, I don't understand why in this case it is being reduced. I don't understand. That is puzzling to me. Or at the very least, keep it the same, right? Keep it the same, because even if you keep it the same, it's not a reduce or a less money coming in, which is much needed. So here you have all the budget. It's pretty much table of contents. I'm looking at a screen over here, guys, so sorry if I'm not looking into the camera. So you have there, an estimate of the tax base. Maverick County has a pretty big tax base, right? And then you have that second line is telling you operational. So it's breaking down the tax rate. Again, it's at a reduction from what it was last year. It's telling you the figures. It's telling you our estimated taxable value throughout the whole county, how it's separated into maintenance and operation, the interest in seeking, and what is the total tax, the multiplication, and how much they're projecting that collection rate to be at. Again, this is just breaking down issuance of bonds, the delinquent of tax, any kind of money that we have out there, and it's also the negative money that we have, how much we're collecting from the sales tax. That seems to be at a reduction according to the county auditor's office. The delinquent discount, that is at a loss, as you can see, going down. It's estimating how much of the taxes. What I find a little odd, and I would have to check myself, is that why is there a decrease in the half-cent sales tax? I wonder if that's right. I would have to check. That's something I cannot check right now online, but it would be interesting to look at that. Again, you can tell what is a negative by what's in parentheses right there. You got revenues coming from other governmental entities. You got any other revenues that are coming in to the general fund here? As you can see, these are, I believe, they're the predictions of what's coming in. They're kind of putting in what they think is going to come in from to date. So they're projecting the exact same amounts, and they're giving you the decrease and increase from the actual budgeted amounts from the previous fiscal year. Fees from the county sheriff's office, they're looking at a reduction there. County clerk's office, district court's office, they're looking at a reduction there. Revenue of assets. This is a big thing here. For some reason, prison care is going down. Interest in earned and rents going down. You see, those are the different revenues of our assets. Rents, anything that the county rents out, they're predicting at a loss. Now, some of these things are not set in stone, guys. I want you to remember, we're still in August. There's still September. So that is, I would say, a conservative amount. In all honesty, I think we need to start, so we can keep taxes at the level that they're at. We need to start doing a thing where we're doing user fees. In other words, you use the park, you use this, you use that, you rent this, you rent that. The fees, rather than hiring the taxes, you can keep them the same, and you can just, whoever uses facilities, rents facilities, and all that, those are the ones that would be charged anything. Now, that's in lieu of charging the actual all the community in taxes and giving user fees, which is a mechanism that we learned over the years that can be used rather than hiring taxes or raising the taxes. In this case, again, I don't necessarily agree with lowering the taxes. I think they should have kept them the same. Again, the auditor had some input in that, maybe more than what we expect, but that's the way it goes, right? So we have revenues again. Passport revenues are down. Motor vehicle commission, sales tax, that's down. There's a lot of stuff, guys, that are it's down, right? So I mean, that's where I guess the auditor's figuring that we have a reduction in these funds that we're expecting to be available for next year. Here's each department with the fund name, the summary of revenues, expenditures, how they're balancing out, if they're increasing, they're decreasing. I won't bore you too much with that. This is a breakdown of each department and how much is going into the proposed budget, what are personnel salaries, other services given. If you notice one thing, look at the supplies. The employees are going to have to deal with not having any supplies according to this budget. So, moving forward. Oh, here you go. So we're actually getting into the budgets per department now. The first one is the the county judge's budget. I know that there was a comment. Let me see here. Alex, if elected officials are sincerely doing their job for the community, then why don't they donate their salaries? Which, is a thought, Alex. You do have some. I mean, they slashed here the county judges, elected official. They knocked down $10,000 from there, which, of course, the county judge still has a additional supplements through, I believe it's the juvenile board. I'm not sure if that other 31,000 is a state supplement or what it is there. Let me see. So you have a chief of staff that stayed intact, which somebody that's the chief of staff needs to be getting paid that amount for everything they do. You have a county court coordinator at 40,000, which I don't see anything prior to that. I want to say that that's probably at a reduction, but I don't see anything prior to that. They've already gotten rid of an executive assistant position on there. Previously, that was in 24-25. In county car allowance, 7,500. Longevity, 0. There was longevity last year. There's no more longevity this year. So not only are they reducing salaries, they're reducing people's longevity that gives them the pay for their time in position or time in with the county. Postage, you got a 895. Operating funds, 17,000 that was there. Again, look, I want to show you that first column is what was actually spent, right, on the 24-25. 25-26 is what was budgeted during this past fiscal year, not the one that they're making the proposed budget for, but the current fiscal year that we're in. That's what was budgeted. Pro forma, as of May 30, 26, that what has been spent so far as of May 2026. That's what's been spent. Let's see. Or what's in there, right? Requested. That's another thing that I want to show you, is that I don't think any department director was given any chance to give input into what they want from their department. Because if you take a look there, requested, there's nothing there. There's absolutely nothing there. And that's what's crazy, is that the auditor, the county auditor, the county judge more so probably knows what each department needs, because he talks to, or should talk to, the departments. But one thing I can tell you is that a county auditor does not know what an elections department needs. A county auditor does not know what a planning department needs, what an animal control department needs. They do not know what they need. Mr. Banda, I already told you. I ain't got nothing to hide. I told you already. Just like I shared with Jerry Morales what was going on with our grant projects, I shared with Mr. Salcedo. And I'll share with Mr. Camarillo. And I'll share with any other commissioner candidate that there is that shows a concern about our grants or any other project that I manage. What you need to say is that, what are you going to get if the person that wins that you've been supporting, what are you getting? Were you paid anything to support a candidate? Because you've told me yourself that you've gotten paid before by other candidates for supporting them. Time to be transparent, buddy. Let us know if you're still on probation for getting shot. That would be interesting to know. Anyways, sorry for that distraction. So here's the county judge's budget. Like I said, nothing in requested, which is kind of crazy to me, because you would think a department would be able, and look, I know when I worked with the city of Eagle Pass, each department head would submit their request as to what they want, whether more salary, higher salary for a position, for their own position, for any line items like, hey, I need part-time help, I need overtime help, I need more postage because we spent a lot of postage this year, I need operating budget because we're doing this and we're doing that. Those are things that a department director should have an opportunity to put. As you see in that requested, that's what the department is requesting, but there's zeros. So nobody got a chance to request anything. And then the proposed is what the auditor and the county judge, that's what they came up with and just said, here you go. All right, let's go a little bit more. That's interesting. So for the county judge, look at the contingencies. Contingencies were actual 4,541. There was no contingencies budgeted last year, $0 in contingencies. a whopping 261,476. Interesting. What kind of contingencies can a county judge's office need? Let me tell you something. If I wanted to stash money to use anywhere I wanted to use it, I would put it in contingencies. Because you could always do a budget amendment later, move it up to a salary, move it up to postage. That's interesting. I hadn't seen that. And I mean, you know, if the only reason I do bring it up, the contingencies, it's because it's $261,000 of contingencies that wasn't even budgeted the previous year. That's interesting. This is a very good question. I know Miss Sandy Sanchez has a post here, and we'll go back to it. I just want to show this one. Did the county auditor also reduce her salary? Where is Quetadillas? I mean, one thing I would say is, why isn't Queta saying anything about this 261,000 right there? In contingencies that the county judge's office did not have the previous year. What were they putting those contingencies back there for? Again, I mean, if I was a smart finance person, budget person, and I wanted to stash money away to maybe use it later on how I want, and not explain too much about what it is, I would put it in contingencies. It's 261,000 in contingencies. Anyways, phone, they went a little bit up. From the last year, it was 1550, 1300. Okay, I mean, cost of stuff goes up. Cell phones, consistent with about 2,000. Mileage was wiped off. Dues was reduced from its previous 15,000. Sorry about that. Give me 1 second here. All right, sorry about that, guys. That little issue there with the camera. Thanks for sticking here. We're not done yet. Just had to fix a little something with this tweak here, but all right. Dues, we went over dues. Okay, so that is the county judge's office. So budgeted last year, 475. The 25-26 budgeted. That's what was budgeted. 472. So they actually went up on the county judge's budget. Okay. around 200 and something thousand, which is, look at those contingencies, 261,000. Media budget. IT media guy slashed. I mean, and that's crazy because we do need somebody that is doing media to explain all the great things that we're doing at the county. I mean, the county has gotten 350,000 in an ambulance. It's going to go to the city of Eagle Pass to assist with the fire and EMS issue. There's nothing out there because there's no media guy to push it out there. Right now, the county has a program going up where we can get up to 1.25 million dollars in outdoor sirens that are going to serve as warnings for people out there that is needed, that is being worked with, the city, and is going to be a work with the water district to make sure everybody is aware whenever there's emergency situations. There's a lot of stuff going on, but there isn't no publicity going on about all these grants that are going out there. And I don't know why, and I'm not going to criticize local media, but there's a lot of stuff. And in today's world, you really need a media. Look at the city. The city does a great job in promoting and showing everything that they do. They do a lot. And I think that with the county, there is a lack of somebody going out and showcasing everything that is being done in each of these departments. There's a lot of stuff being done. And I think that the notion comes from a lot of people in the public that, no, they don't do anything. And, maybe to some extent with certain people, you may be right. But the thing is that there is a lot of stuff being done. It's just not being showcased or being told to anybody because we're limited as to, they're doing away with that. They're reducing the salary of a graphic engineer that has an expertise in that. Man, 28,000 is not even a living wage, guys. $28,424 divided by 2088. That's $13 an hour. That's not even a living wage. $28,000, bro. Longevity, you're out the door. Longevity. Absolutely no supplies. Now, I don't know how a graphic engineer that does signs, does promotions, does anything like that, how is he going to do anything without any supplies? Internet, about the same. Cell phone, about the same. Human resources. 59,000 down to 47,000 for the human resources director. That's a huge reduction in a director that has over 10 years of experience doing what he's doing. Now, if they reduce that salary, you lose 10 years of experience. If that person leaves, now somebody else is going to have to step in, and they don't have that same kind of quality experience. That is a serious thing that can happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen in this case, but it's something that can happen. HR secretary from 31 to 25, slashing salaries. Longevity is gone as well. They are not rewarding employees anymore for being there as long as they have. Now, the longevity was a thing that was given to employees to increase retention. Why do you want retention? Anybody that has ever had a business or anybody that has dealt with employees, you want to keep your good employees. You do because that's experience. You want to be able to have your employees work autonomously and have them dealing with things that they need to do, not have to have turnover so much to where you have to retrain, go out, hire, recruit. That costs money too. Fringe benefits, that's for those of you that don't know, the insurances that are paid for the employee, dental, medical, and all that, typical for public entities. Supplies, nothing. No paper, no pens, no postage, nothing. Internet and phone cut down. Here they did add cell phones. County clerk. This is another one that our county clerk has been there for 20 years. That kind of experience you cannot replace. She's an elected official. I believe this raise was given to her a couple of years ago, well deserved, for the highest or elected official that has been there as long as she has and had never gotten a raise. Now you have the auditor come in here and snatch that raise away. $13,000. Ouch. Ouch. That's an estimated, let's see, $13,000. Wow. That's almost like $6-7 an hour. Man. I'll go back to that question of that Alex had. Did the county auditor reduce her salary? About 30,000 reduced in deputies. So that's probably a whole position reduced. Almost a whole position. I don't think it was a position slashed. They have 5 employees here. I'm not familiar with the total employees that they have, but I do believe that they're taking hours or salary away from the employees, which longevity out the door. You know, you've been there 10 years, guy. You've been there 7 years, guy. The auditor and the county judge, they don't care. Phone went a little bit up. Okay, next. Veteran services officer. Now, I'll be honest. The veteran services are critical. We have a lot of veterans here in Maverick County. We've seen our current veteran services officer do one heck of a job. The girl that was there before did one heck of a job, and the current one, he's doing a heck of a job, man. And they slashed his budget by $8,000 took away about 1,500 in operating supplies. Phone and internet, they got it slashed. Transportation services, they got it slashed. And that's sad. That transportation for our veterans. Taking services away from our veterans is what they're doing. Longevity gone. Next up, district court. From our elected official, our district judge, a little bit away, you see the employee numbers in the department. Longevity, again. Man, that's disappointing. Let's see. Where am I here? I mean, they shouldn't be taking away the longevity, man. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been working there for years in their positions. And it's like, again, taking salaries from our elected officials, there's a dip right there. Thank God that our judges do receive a state stipend or some kind of something where, that may not hurt them too much. And then, this is the 365th District Court, District Attorney's Office. Longevity, fringe benefits, gone. So juvenile probation, there's no salaries on here. District Clerk's Office, another one. $63,000 down to $50,000. $13,000 for an elected official. I mean, that's a big sum. Does it need to happen like that? Doesn't. You got about $50,000 reduction in deputies and assistants. In the district clerk's office, everybody that works there, they do a lot of work. I mean, I know that. I've seen myself, and I don't know if that's getting rid of those 50,000 is getting rid of employees or reducing their salaries. But just like any other department that we've shown here, it's difficult. It's difficult to have something and expect to have the same type of service when you're either reducing people's salaries or you're reducing the amount of people there available to help. Clerk at the passports, again, from 36,000 to 29. 29,000 is hardly a livable wage, guys. It's hardly a livable wage. Longevity, gone. My God. So a district clerk's office, what they do is they handle everything, the legal stuff that comes in that goes out to the judges. In my eyes, I think they operate, hand in hand with our district judges. And our district judges need the support from the district clerks and vice versa. They work together. How are they supposed to support our honorable district courts without having any supplies? Zero supplies. As you can see, they previously had 5,000 I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong one here. Previously they had 7,000 in stationery and station, postage 27,000, 6,000 in operating. How are they supposed to send out notices and do things like that with no money? How are they supposed to service our honorable district court systems without any supplies? Jeez. It looks like training was slashed about a third. Man. Justice of the peace, elected official, down about 7,000. Clerk, about 6,000 again. 25,000 is not a livable wage, guys. 25,000 will not cover a vehicle payment, a house, apartment payment, none of that. One thing I do see here, and I don't know if it's a typo, is longevity. I don't know if that's a typo. Because that's the first longevity we've seen. I'm gonna go up. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that might be a typo. That's 7,200. But county auditor's office, are you not checking what you're doing? Having typos like that? 7,200. I wonder that 7,200 should have gone to something else. And again, the very next one, look. No longevity. Elected official taking a $7,000 hit. 47,000 going down to 25. About half. That might be a whole position. Longevity gone. They do have 75 postage. Everything else, supply is gone. Again, our justice of the peace, 32,000 to 25 reduction, reducing from 47 down to 25. Longevity gone. Supplies minimum $80 in postage. Phone and internet from 7,000 to 780. Cell phone got added. Electricity because they have their own building. Mileage taken away from. Let me check. Mileage being taken away from all of them? Yeah, it is. No more mileage for our justice of the peace that have to travel. Yeah, I think it's a typo. Sarah saying it's a typo. That's what I think. But again, my point is, where are these county auditors checking their stuff? Now, that wasn't the only error that has been seen. If I start adding up some of these things, some of them don't make sense. Again, where are the expertise of the county auditor? And we're going to bring that point up right now with this situation here. Longevity gone. Elected official, 32,000 down to 25. Again, another justice of the peace being reduced. Salary from 31, a clerk to 25. Car allowance, okay. Mileage isn't there. Um, Precinct 4 from 32 down to 25. Again, 47 down to 25. They're slashing at least. It might be one person they're slashing, or they're reducing the salary there. It doesn't really show you here. It tells you two full-time employees up there, but it doesn't tell you what it was when it was budgeted here. So we don't know if there's a reduction in position here or not. Longevity gone, which has been consistent. Again, precinct 4, no stationery, no postage, no operating supplies, printing, nothing. Phone and internet about the same, water about the same, travel about the same. I did see travel was slashed from other. Travel was slashed from other. Oh, wait a minute. That's travel. Travel slashed. That was water. Okay. It's consistent, at least in that end. Constables. From 34,000 to 28. Two full-time employees. I think that I mean, I don't know if that's a whole. They're slashing the part-time. I don't know if this is a reduction of all the employees that are there. Or is that a whole position? It looks like to be. If I'd have to take a guess, it might be slashing somebody or slashing of salaries. Car allowances in there, cell phone allowances in there. No station postage, K9 operating supplies. So, what is a dog supposed to eat? I don't understand. How is our K9 unit supposed to eat? Uniforms gone, training gone, which I think that they're certified peace officers that have to update all their stuff. That's crazy. Travel gone, which again they have training, mileage gone. Looks like phone and internet consistent, electricity consistent. They have their own building. What's this? Precinct 1? Constables Precinct 1. I believe they have their own building. Fuel about the same, which is not enough for the constables. Precinct 2. Wow. From 63 all the way down to 25. That might be like two positions there, guys. That might be like two positions. Yeah, I see Sarah about the clerks and the mileage. Yeah, and mileage is needed for the JPs. I understand. They have to operate at all hours of the night. They need a car allowance, and I think mileage. Since there's not enough vehicles to go around in the county, sometimes you have to use your own vehicle as an employee, and that's where that mileage comes in. I agree. Alex, cutting the budget of our sheriff's department should never be the solution. Our community needs to be safe, and our children. I think the sheriff's office, Alex, I agree with you. I also would have to say of our constables as well, because our constables are having to be called in now for several things, and I think that they're just as much as law enforcement officers as our sheriff's department. I think equally both of them should law enforcement shouldn't be cut. I agree with you there. There's got to be something that we can be done. But again, K9 operating supplies for Precinct 2 is slashed. They haven't had anything there, but how are the dogs supposed to eat? We should be able to provide food for these animals. Especially, I mean, they're not animals, they're officers, right? K9 officers, they're officers. Uniforms, nothing. Training, nothing. Travel, nothing. Mileage, slashed. Again, I know our constables have to go to training to renew their licenses. Deputies need to renew several certifications, licenses, and stuff like that. Vehicle fuel was raised actually for Precinct 2. This is Constable Precinct 2? Yeah. So Constable Precinct 2 was actually raised from 12,000 to 15,000. Constable 3-1. Elected official. That's strange. Okay, it was kept the same. I just noticed that Precinct 3-1 gets paid a little bit more than the other constables. But it kept the same. But he goes from 95,000 to 25,000. So they're basically slashing like 2 or 3 positions there from 3-1. It looks like they're just leaving the constables and 1 deputy. How are they supposed to operate? Overtime slashed. Longevity gone. Vehicle and fuel to 3,000. I guess my big question here is vehicle repairs, nothing. So their vehicles break down, they don't have money to repair them for the constables. That is ridiculous. How are these constables supposed to repair their vehicles? Constable, same amount. Now, 23,000 is not a livable wage for our constables, but I will say SB 22, with SB 22 and funding that we get from SB 22, it covers some of their salaries, so actually it's a little bit more than the 23,000. SB 22 is actually, I'm gonna be coming up to applying for it in September. You can apply for it a month in advance, which would be September before the fiscal year. So that's something that the constables do have. But going from 31,000 to 25, that's either at a reduction of the employee or a reduction to the a position, one or the other. Vehicle fuel 6,700. Nothing in fuel vehicle repair. Now, I will say this. There's a possibility that they can change that amount of vehicle fuel and oil. They can change that and move it over to vehicle repairs. It's something that is possible through a budget amendment that needs to get approved. One thing I would say though is that it's difficult. Let's say your car breaks down right there for Constable 332. It breaks down right there. How is he going to patrol? How is he going to be out there to do what he needs to do as a constable? He has to wait to do a budget amendment. He has to wait for Commissioner's Court to have a meeting, for Commissioner's Court to approve the budget amendment, and then finally go repair that vehicle. By that time, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe a month can pass, and have the vehicle stationary, and the elected official, the constable or his deputy, will not be able to repair that vehicle in time, or be out of commission for a while in between that repair getting done. I can't fathom that. I cannot just. Precinct 4, from 95,000 to 25. I think they're cutting about 2 or 3 people. Salary for the constable stays the same. Of course, they're getting an SB 22 increase. 25,000 for one constable is not a livable wage. Overtime slashed, longevity slashed, no supplies whatsoever. 9,000 in vehicle fuel and oil, nothing in repair. That's a slash of almost double, a little less than double, of vehicle fuel. Slash of $9,000 to repairs. Again, same thing I said for the last constable, and this applies for all the constables. A vehicle goes down, you don't have anything in vehicle repairs, you have to make a budget amendment. And if you look again, this is consistent with all of them. Requested, none of the elected officials, none of the department directors had an opportunity to give their suggested to the county auditor and to the county judge to make this budget. I think that upsets me the most, because they should be allowed to give their input about what are the needs in their departments. Zero, nothing. How is a constable going to get his vehicle repaired in time when it breaks down on a Monday? We don't have a commissioner of court until 2 weeks. Three weeks. It needs to get approved. Meanwhile, those 2 or 3 weeks, that vehicle is stationary and shut down, and a constable or his deputy can't do anything about it. That is exactly what I mean about a county auditor not knowing what a constable needs, what a JP needs, what a county judge office needs. That is exactly what an auditor does not know and needs input for. And according to this budget, there was no input from the department directors or from the elected officials. And I can tell you from firsthand, a county auditor does not know what each of these departments needs unless they are being told. And by the looks of this, they were not given the opportunity. Department directors or elected officials were not given the opportunity. It is ridiculous. Now, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I'm an auditor. I think the job isn't that hard. Maybe they're just having difficulty over there. But numbers are numbers, right? But I'm not a county auditor. But I can tell you, because I have common sense, that a constable is going to need to repair. A constable is going to need to repair their vehicles at least one time during the year. A flat, a gasket, AC. I mean, guys, how many times a year do you have to go get a repair? A flat tire, an oil change. If you're lucky, you won't have to repair your vehicle. Am I right or am I wrong? Because I've had to do a lot of repairs to my vehicle just this year alone. Common sense. Common sense. And I can tell you from experience, from working with this county auditor, Gloria Barrientos, in the city, and then later hearing in the city of Del Rio when I went over there when she was terminated from Del Rio, lack of common sense. There is no common sense. Why would you wait for a constable to put in a budget amendment to change that fuel and oil or any other item so they can fix their vehicle while that vehicle is in the shop because of a flat tire, because the AC doesn't work? you're going to make them wait 2 or 3 weeks, and they will not be able to serve their community as a constable or as the deputy constable because you did not have the common sense to put some money in vehicle repair. You know, I'd have the common sense to at least look up how much a flat costs, look up how much an AC costs, look how much a gasket costs, look how much, hey, constable, what repairs have you had to do to your vehicle or needed for your vehicle the past year? You had this, and that. How much do those things cost? You know what? I'm going to put a little bit of there in your budget just so you won't have to worry of going to commissioner's court and wait until they have a meeting to be able to get the budget amendment approved. It's common sense. Common sense. County attorney's office. Our county attorney is getting a salary reduced of $20,000, almost $20,000. And you know, a lot of credit needs to be due where I don't think it is done. But the county attorney's office is actually the lead when it comes to OLS. That's probably something the county attorney's office doesn't have to do, but they do take on. And then to slash our county attorney's office $20,000, there's an additional stipend that I see, so okay. Still, $20,000 is a lot to be reduced. And then you're going to reduce staff as well. 61,000 down to 25. That looks like it's some staff that is going to go down. That is ridiculous. Paralegal, not so much. Longevity, out of there. Supplies, from 18,000 down to 0. Wow. So you're talking about no paper, no pens, no copies. How are they supposed to operate now? They do have court. They're prosecutors and assistant prosecutors. How are they supposed to get anything done without supplies? Phone is right around the same. Electricity around the same. Fuel 8,000. Vehicle repairs. What is going to happen if they don't have? Again, same thing with the constables. Same thing with JPs. You don't have, well, JPs, I think they don't have units. But with the constables that do, how are they going to fix their vehicles? Common sense. Split up or take a portion of that vehicle fuel, put it into vehicle repairs. You're going to have county attorneys, one vehicle set aside, waiting to get repaired because the county auditor didn't have the common sense to put in anything for vehicle repairs. Vehicles, especially county vehicles that get used a lot for daily use, for business, they get used a lot. Constables are patrolling all the time, just as much as sheriff's office. Why would you not put anything in vehicle repairs? Okay. A lot of you guys have been asking. Let me go back. Let me go back and show you the numbers of people that have been asking. Lando. How about the auditor? Did she take a pay cut? I know there was another one in here. Alex, did the county auditor also reduce her salary? They should remove their own salary. County Auditor's Office. Let's dig in. Appointed assistant auditors. Budgeted last year $463,000. Almost $500,000. Almost $500,000 that the county auditors, appointed assistant auditors, almost $500,000. Proposed budget, that was last year. Oh wait, guys, before we get all crazy and stuff, the auditor's office did reduce their appointed assistant county auditors salaries by $1. By $1. The county auditor's office, all the county assistant auditors, they did not remove any positions, and they did not take a salary cut. That's the appointed assistant auditor. So anybody that works as in the assistant auditor's office or in the county auditor's office, those assistants, they're all making the same. They're all making the same money. There was no cuts. Right there, look at it. No cuts. They ask you guys, other county employees, to make cuts. They asked elected officials to make cuts. But to their department, no cuts to salaries. No positions cut. How about the appointed official, Gloria Barrientos, the county auditor, who is spearheading, who produced this budget? Did she take a pay cut? $91,800. She didn't take no pay cut. Budgeted 25-26, that same $91,800. Get this. She just recently got a raise in 25-26. So this fiscal year, she just got a raise. It was at $56,000, the previous auditor. $56,732. She gave herself a raise, or was given a raise, I'm sorry, because she doesn't give herself raises. She was given a raise of, what's that, 30-something thousand? Man, I think she might even make more than the county judge. I don't even know if that's legal. Oh, wow. Guys, and I'm seeing this. This is my second time I take a look at this actual page. Wow. Salaries, they did not cut positions. They did not cut salaries for the assistant county auditors, and the county auditor making a whopping $91,800. I have a good story on that. Let me finish the rest of this budget, and then we'll get to that story. Or we can probably wait to the end. Let me see. Longevity, gone. Fair enough. I was already waiting for them to keep their longevity too, man. Supplies, they don't have any supplies, which they took a heavy hit on supplies. I will say that. Oh, training. Everybody got their training budgets removed. Did the auditors? They have training. They went up on phone and internet. They didn't get cell phone stipends. Now they do. Electricity, about the same. Their mileage got removed. Professional services, $15,000. Ain't that something, guys? Look at that right here in this section. While everybody at the county is worried about paying bills, their jobs, the county auditor's office don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about their salaries, their pay. But they can, and they did, make this budget along with the county judge, Rolando Hassel. They didn't touch the auditor's office, none of their salaries. But they're asking every other elected official to slash, to cut, to reduce, and to be happy with it. Check this out. Reimbursement for lab fill for one accountant total. One accountant, $62,000 with $23,000 French. Looks like they got the higher salaries than everybody else does, huh? Treasurer's office. Our elected official at the treasurer's office, $11,000. The auditor's an appointed. She makes $91,000. Hijo de su madre, güey. $230,000 for his employees, down to $175,000. That might be a couple of positions. No postage, no operating, no training, no phone, mileage gone. God bless. Tax assessor collector, 56,000 all the way down to 44. That's $12,000. God bless. But the auditor doesn't have anything, right? A ella no le quitaron nada. Jesus. Deputies, 265,000, 220, 45,000. That's probably a position or two. Might be a position, and then reduction of salaries for everybody there. Almost everybody there. Accountant, 51,000, stays the same. Longevity, gone. Postage, okay. Slashed in half. Training, nothing. Phone, reduced. Electricity, turn up. They have a big building. Water, increased. They have a big building. Maintenance contracts, that went up. Lease agreements, that went up. I'm not sure what the lease agreements are. I don't know. I don't know what the lease agreements are. I'm not going to lie to you and invent stuff. But it was increased. IT. IT was reduced from 138 to 96. And I can tell you, right now, I've been hearing from a lot of employees that there was also an announcement that the county made that internet was down and they were having trouble with phone calls. I think I even saw it here in the comments. And you're reducing your IT force. But not from the county auditor's office and not from the county auditor. No. Their salaries, no. Don't touch those. Supplies, nothing. Training, nothing. Cell phones went up. Electricity, they're housed at a building. I wonder why the electricity, or maybe something I would have to ask. Mileage reduced. Software, 335,000. I wonder if we have to have that software. Um, appointed official elections went up 2,000. Overtime elections taken off. Wow. Elections payroll 90,000. That was reduced. Probably pay cuts. Clerks reduced from 34 to 25, almost 10,000. Longevity, you're out of there. Um, Operating supplies, I mean, they were lucky enough to keep their operating supplies. Election expense, 60,000. They added more for election expense. Phone and internet reduced. Travel, it went up. You know, and I'm not saying they don't need their travel, but I wonder what it was that made the auditors think, hey, they need more travel than they currently have. Because again, look at all those dashes that go in the straight line. Departments weren't allowed or didn't request anything. Now, I don't know how an auditor would know these things without getting requests from the departments. Again, we already know that they operate with no common sense. Collections department stayed the same. No supplies in the collections department. Wow. How are they supposed to send notices? How are they supposed to do all that? How are they supposed to get paper to print? It's crazy because I know I visited the collections department and there's another department within the collections department in the same thing that they always have to borrow paper from there because they don't have a budget. And now they don't have a budget, the collections department, so that's going to be, I don't know how they're going to do it there. Oh man. That's crazy. Courthouse. Custodians. 31,000 off. I don't know if that's 2 positions. I don't know if that's 1 position. Gone. Completely. But the courthouse needs phones. The courthouse needs cell phones even though there's not an employee there. Okay. Electricity, okay. Wow. 250,000 for repair and maintenance at the building. Make it make sense, auditors. Make it make sense. I don't understand that. Repair and maintenance building, 250,000. 250. I don't understand that. How are you going to repair everything? Those restrooms go down all the time. You hear complaints from advocates outside of the county courthouse all the time that the restrooms go down. $250? That's not going to fix anything. That AC units, I'm sure they're old because it's an old building. Jeez. Food bank, salary stays the same. Deputies, they go down. Clerks, they go down. They're going down again in salary. Let's see, we got a quick questions here. No. It's on the budget. There's no pay cut. The auditor's not taking any pay cuts. Alex, what do you mean? Who's trying to justify Puerto Verde? The auditor? The commissioners? Can you explain that one a little bit? stealing from the poor to and give to the rich. I mean, I could be something like that, Sarah. Yeah, I see that. The ones on a salary are not being affected like the rest of us on our. That's what it looks like. Okay, so no operating supplies for the food bank. Phone reduction. Cell phone same. Water the same. Mileage reduced. Food distribution, thank God. At least they have the common sense to keep the money there for food distribution because people really need it out here during these hard times. And who knows, maybe some of our employees they can't afford to make their bills anymore because of these salary cuts that the auditor herself did not give herself. County sheriff. Reduction of salary for the sheriff. Clerks at the sheriff's office, they went up. Captain. They added a captain for 111,000 at the sheriff's office, or for captains, I'm not sure. Deputies. It looks like it's a reduction here. I'm not sure if it is or not. Deputy corporals. Looks like 100,000 reduction on deputy corporals. Oh, that's funny. Grant coordinator. That's crazy. And I'll tell you why right now. They kept the grant coordinator at the sheriff's office, but I'll get to that right now. Oh wow. How are they going to reduce our sheriff's office holiday and overtime pay? $208,000 to $10,000. How? Overtime. Jeez. I don't even know what to say. Secretary, 66,000 slashed. Administrative assistant, 38, stays the same. Sheriff's mechanic stays the same. Longevity, out the door. At least they got a little bit of postage, 280. But supplies, they got reduced from 54,000 to nothing. They have a little bit here, training. Got reduced. Phones got reduced. Cell phones about the same. No mileage. 150,000 in vehicle repairs. You see, and that's what I'm saying is that they put some vehicle repairs in the sheriff's, which they need. I'm not going to say they don't. They absolutely need it, just like they need the fuel. But why not include that in the constable's offices? Well, at least at the sheriff's office, the dogs are going to be getting paid. I mean, fed. 1,500 they left. They slashed it, so they're probably not going to be eating too good there at the sheriff's office, the canines. But the constables, they didn't get any canine funds. The sheriffs did, which I'm not saying the sheriff shouldn't. They absolutely should. They should probably get the whole 4,000 that they need. But why not include the constables, because they need to feed their animals as well? And they took off machinery. And our sheriff's office did take a hit. County jail, again, holiday and overtime, 54,000 and 10,000. Ouch. Compliance officer about the same. Jail administrator about the same. Records coordinator the same. Assistant record coordinator is the same. Um, Clerk's records the same. Custodian the same. Maintenance facility the same. Doctor a little bit of reduction. Nurse the same. Medical assistant the same. Assistant warden a little bit of a reduction. Chief jailer same. Jail supervisor same. Jailers a little bit of an increase. Administrative assistant the same. Part-time jailer the same. And it's upsetting because we need to be focusing on law enforcement, guys. Our sheriff's office, our elected officials, they absolutely need funding. A prisoner medical, a little bit of a reduction. A prisoner transfer, a little bit of a reduction. Prisoner operating supply, an increase. Prison food, an increase. Excuse me. Electricity, a reduction. Water, the same. Cable. Man, why are you taking my jailer's cable away? People need to watch some cable down there. 16,000 to 4,000. They're not giving any mileage. Training. They took away their training when the people there at the jail need adequate training. Again, nothing on vehicle repair. They have vehicle fuel, but these are people that transport prisoners as well. What if a vehicle goes down? They're not going to be able to transport prisoners, and it's going to back up all the operations there. Why not have something in vehicle repair? Building went up a little bit, which our jail does absolutely need funding to make repairs. I agree with that. Cemetery assistants, there's a reduction in salaries. But again, the auditor won't reduce her own salary or her employee salaries. Water is the same. Electricity is the same. Oh, excuse me, guys. Nothing at all on supplies. How are they supposed to do their jobs? Precinct 2 admin office, are y'all still hanging in there? Man, I'm already yawning over here. Maybe we need to skip into the good stuff. Elected official, precinct 2 office, reduced. Assistants, slashed, bro. 133 to 55. Man, you're talking about 80,000 or so. It's big money, guys. That are getting slashed. That's a lot of positions. 2, 3 positions there. Longevity gone. No training. No utility. Okay, but you still have the water. You still have electricity. Vehicle fuel, which they do have vehicles there. Again, where are the repairs? There's not even anything there for repairs. Purchasing agent, just a name. There's never been anything there. Cemetery 2, never been anything there. Body worn cameras, have not been anything there. County Court of Law. So they're putting an elected judge, a court coordinator, a court admin, court reporter. They misspelled court reporter. They put court reported. Typo. Okay. I mean, the county court of law needed to be established. Funding will start at the authorization of the court's creation January 2026 unless determined by the court. Precinct 1 admin office, elected official, slashed. Assistants reduced. Clerks removed. Overtime gone. Longevity gone. Supplies, no supplies. Phone reduced. Cell phone around the same. Vehicle and fuel, they have vehicles, again, no repairs. Community center, assistance, that looks like a position being removed. Clerks from 66 to 25, that looks like vehicles being removed. Agriculture, not much was changed except for the clerk reduction. I'm going a little bit faster, guys. There's still a lot to go. That's why I'm going a little bit fast. Maybe just get to the good stuff. Elected official precinct 4, administrative assistant cut, another clerk cut, no longevity, no supplies, no vehicle repair, a little bit of fuel and oil, non-departmental. Precinct 3, same story, reduction here, cuts there. Fire station, EMS, completely blank. Contractual services. Oh, okay, planner. Okay, no reduction in planning clerk. No supplies. Vehicle repairs, again, same thing. Little bit of travel, no mileage. Whoa. Take a look at that. Grants division, 0. The one who was asking, was it Ludi or Toad or whatever? How much do I make? If the budget's approved as is, I'm not going to make anything. 63,000 for the grant administrator. I didn't get a chance to request anything. Of course, I've never had any budget at all, just my salary and longevity. But this year it's getting cut because that's what the auditor said. And the county judge, Rolando Hasso, agreed. Yeah. And I don't think I have to defend anything. 63,000. Let's see. Out of, let's say, on the lower half, 7 million, 8 million that we brought in grant funding. What's the percentage on that? Let's say 7.5 million. Just, I'm pretty sure it's around 8, but wow. So if you compare the budget or the salary I get paid and the percentage of grant funding that we've been able to bring in with the help all the departments, you're talking about a 0.84 percentage of what has been brought. So that's less than 1%. My salary is worth less than 1% than what we've been able to bring in. And 3 years, I'll probably go a little bit up more if you do 3 years that I've been there. Um, if you guys have any doubts, go ahead and Google grant administrators, uh, and you'll see what they really make. About over 100,000. Not everything is about money, like I said before. Um, it's about liking about what you do and the satisfaction you get from helping your community. But for some reason, Gloria Barrientos, the county auditor, thought they could do better, or they don't need a grant administrator. Animal control. Parks department, still the same. Labor, still the same. So I think you're getting the code enforcement 134 down to 45. So they're slashing that planning department hard. All right. I think that's the majority. Oh, wait, that was bridge here. Let's see. I'll just do this last one. Go over road and bridge. If I can find it. Okay. Road and bridge, 74,528 stays the same. Street maintenance stays the same. Mechanic stays the same. Office manager, they're reducing her. Clerk, they're reducing him, her, sorry. Uh, um, labor assistant, they're reducing. CDL drivers, they're reducing. Skilled concrete, they're increasing. Mechanic, they're reducing. Welder, they're reducing. Overtime, at least they held on to it overtime, right? Longevity gone. Operating supplies, 30,000. That's barely even a street. I don't even think you can do well. Road material, I think those are broken up into each precinct. 30,000, you won't even be able to repair one street. That's just patching. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this one like that. But stick around. I have one more thing that you guys might want to see. And I didn't see the whole story. I didn't see. I mean, not the whole story. The whole budget. How's my sound, guys? I'm getting a message that the sound's not there. Is the sound still good? Can y'all give me a thumbs up? Anybody? Thumbs up, real quick. Y'all still hear me? Sound still good? I'm gonna give you the last bit of it. This one like that. I see what the sound. Yeah, something did happen to the sound. Well, no wonder why everybody was leaving. How about now? Is the sound better? How's the sound now? A little bit better. I don't know what happened with that echo. I don't know what was going on with my things, but that didn't sound good. Time to upgrade the. How about now? Is the sound better? Okay. How's the sound now? A little bit better. I don't know what happened with that echo. Wow. Something's going on with the sound really bad, guys. But let me go ahead and just finish this because I think that it's yeah, I don't know what was going on with these things. I guess my battery must have run out, and everything sounds kind of distorted. It still sounds a little distorted. I'm listening to here. Yeah, the sounds pretty bad. Let me see if I can fix it real quick because that's not good. All right, let's see. I think maybe that fixed it. All right, let's see. Still sounds pretty bad, but I think maybe that fixed it. All right, well, I apologize again. This is why we're actually trying to get somebody else to help us out with the podcast, a producer, something, co-host, so we can handle these types of issues and not really worry about it too much because things happen, right? Um, so what I do want to show, or maybe I won't be able to, but I'll just go ahead and tell you. So a thing happened whenever we were done today in Commissioner's Court. As a citizen, I went ahead and came up to the podium and stressed these concerns. The concerns that employees were going to get affected. Um, employees are getting their positions cut. Employees are getting their salaries reduced. There's no supplies for anything. And I wanted to address that with Commissioner's Court. Another thing that I thought that needed to be addressed was the county auditor and the county auditor's office not doing anything to their own salaries, yet helping out with this budget to give out everything else and reduce everybody else. That did not sit very well with a lot of people. And like I said, I know a lot of people don't want to comment on it because they fear retaliation. Retaliation is very real. I can tell you firsthand that that is exactly what is happening with the grant administrator position at this moment. Now, you can see I'm nowhere near the highest person that's get paid, but I am an individual along with the team of Maverick County. I do get assistance from the departments because I don't know everybody's department. I do know a lot, but I don't know the particulars of everybody's department. So I do need assistance. But we've been very successful over the past 3 years in getting grants all across different departments, and it was because of the help of these people that the auditors are trying to cut their salaries. And they're trying to cut the budget of grants totally, get rid of it, which I think is irresponsible, being that there's been success. I understand if you get rid of me because I've just been sitting on my ass, or get rid of the department because they haven't been producing, but the proof is in the pudding. Now I think it's very much political, and it's very evident. So I went out and I said something in Commissioner's Court, and I have confidence that the commissioners will support the employees. I'm not saying that there isn't fat to be trimmed. What I'm saying is that the majority of everybody there busts their damn ass. They do. They do, including myself. Now, after I was done, I made to light, and I showed everybody, just like I did here in my presentation, in my podcast, that the auditor is still making $91,000. Her assistants, no budget cuts, no salary cuts, no position cuts. I made that known in Commissioner's Court because somebody had to say something. Somebody had to say something for the employees. And I'm glad that one of the commissioners did say something. And I do feel that the rest of the commissioners, they understand. It's urgent. People don't want to go through these type of things. So I'm confident in Commissioner's Court that things are going to get better. I'm confident that whoever gets appointed to judge will work with the commissioners to right this wrong. Because that's what it is, a wrong that the county auditor is attempting to do against all of Maverick County employees. And I just don't see that being right. Saying that, I finished, Commissioner's Court finished, and quick shout out, I'm not favoring anybody as much as these guys want to tell you, but David Salcello went out there, last Commissioner's Court meeting, he mentioned about the 321 and how it benefited the county to get funding right away. If you don't know what the 321 is, it's a 3% discount on taxes on October, 2% discount taxes in November, and 1% discount on taxes in December. What does this do? It helps people pay their taxes quicker at a discounted rate so that the county can have more funding to use right away. Because typically people wait until January to start paying their taxes. He proposed it at last Commissioner's Court. This Commissioner's Court, they put it in the agenda. It got approved unanimously all across Commissioner's Court. And all I wanted to do is congratulate him the way I congratulated him in Commissioner's Court, saying, hey, your idea, good thing you put it out there. And I'm glad that was put out there. I'm glad that he put it out there, and it was unanimously voted. So thank you for that. I'm not above thanking people for doing what they do. I know that you have a lot of activists there that come up, and I may not agree with them, but I thank them for what they do, because our First Amendment right should always be upheld. And I would never want to take away anyone's First Amendment right, because that's what we're awarded under the Constitution. That's just, the way I think about that. I have a message coming in. It's a pretty long one, but I'll go ahead and read it since I didn't catch the first one that Ms. Sandy said. I can put it on here, just that it's long. I don't think you're going to see all of it, so bear with me. She says, I know you mentioned during special meeting that the auditors appear to pick and choose which departments and positions would be affected by the proposed cuts, and that there was some question as to whether favoritism played a role. I understand why people may question that. Personally, I don't necessarily look at favoritism. I look at it as something that needs to be applied consistently and fairly. People may take budget cuts personally, but when you're dealing with financial crisis, it can't be personal. If reductions are necessary, I believe every department should be evaluated under the same standard, including the auditor's office and the district judges. What concerns me is that it appears some areas are facing significant reductions, while others, including the auditors, district judges, do not appear to be experiencing the same level of cuts. That raises questions about those decisions that are being made. I also think it's fair to the public to question whether there could be a conflict of interest or an appearance of favoritism when the district judges have a role in selecting the individuals who serve on the auditors panel. I'm not saying that this is what is happening. I'm saying that when a taxpayer's dollar is involved, the process should be transparent enough that the public does not have to wonder. At the end of the day, this shouldn't be about personalities, friendships, or who gets upset. It should be about numbers, accountability, efficiencies, and doing what is best for the taxpayer. If everyone has to sacrifice, then everyone should be willing to take a fair look at their own department. I honestly don't believe this is necessarily political. I think it may be more about human nature. When difficulty decisions have to be made, it's understandable that people may look people may naturally be concerned about protecting themselves or positions and people around them. But when facing a financial crisis situation like this, I think we have to step back and look at the bigger picture. The focus should be on the community as a whole and the taxpayers and the employee who are doing the work, not on protecting one department or individual over another. I'm not saying this to hurt anybody's feelings or point fingers. These are difficult decisions, and I'm sure nobody wants to make them. I just believe in the fair approach is to apply the same standard across the board and ask every department, where can we do better? Where can we reduce costs, and what is truly necessary? At the end of the day, it shouldn't be about who wins or loses. It should be about making sure our county comes out of this stronger, and we're making decisions based on what is best for the community as a whole. Well said. I appreciate your comments, and I think I agree with the majority of it, Sandy. And I understand, where you're coming from, but I honestly do think biases are built in this. I do think that, and this is just my opinion. It's an opinion. Everybody has their own, right? It's hard to believe this budget was done in good faith when the one who's making the budget doesn't lead by example. If I was asking anybody to take a budget cut, or if I was a supervisor saying, hey, I'm going to have to reduce your salary, I would reduce my salary first. And I think that that's the kind of leader that the auditor, or that's the kind of lead that the auditor should have done. But in this case, it did not bother her one bit to remove other salaries while keeping her and her own salaries where they were. It's just difficult for me to think that, you say human nature, but human nature is politics. They're one of a kind, not one of a kind. They're the same beast. Human nature is politics, and politics is human nature. One follows the other very carefully, in my opinion. And I think that, for whatever reason, this budget was done the way it was. Whether you're right in your assumption, whether I'm right in my opinion, whether we're both wrong, it should have been done the way a leader does things. And a leader affects himself before he affects anybody else. That's just my opinion on the thing. Guys, it's been 2 hours. I know it was a little bit long. This budget book's big. I just tried to cram everything in as much as I could. I know I'm having still difficulties with the sound. It sounds horrible. I apologize. I do have confidence that in the replay, my software will be able to fix it, and on the replay, it'll come out a little bit better than it did live. I'm not sure what happened. I'll work to get better so that doesn't happen again. I'll try to figure it out. I thank those who stuck by. I know we lost about 20 or 30 viewers. It's sad to say, but thank y'all for sticking by until the end. Any questions you guys have that I can help you with? Constituents, people running for office, whoever has any questions, I have always been open for people to come by my office. It's small. You won't be able to sit down. But I'm an open book, and I'm ready to talk about anything you guys have, any ideas that could help out where I'm involved, that I could help out. I really appreciate that. I've always been that way. I've never turned anybody down that has anything that could assist us, help us. And I think a lot of the advocacy groups there can vouch for that. So that's all for today. This is Isaac Reese. You're listening to the Maverick Times Podcast, episode number the Maverick County fiscal year 2027 Maverick County proposed budget. Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.